Let me kick us off here. There is a live link to this, just FYI. Bo Wick from a Rangers Network is live streaming this, which would be available to rewatch, I guess, or maybe pull clips from if you want to. Just looking at certain parts of it, and to be able to send that or share that link with others who maybe couldn't be here tonight. But I want to open just by thanking you for coming. I'm Coach Larry Hill, the head football coach here at Smithson Valley. Most of you know that, and I want to thank you for coming tonight as we honor these special teams in this special year that was the 2022 season. We have a lot to be thankful for, but it was made possible by our players and their parents and our community and the coaching staff all working together to put that type of season together, really at all levels. And the parents and the volunteers who made this evening possible. It is a great tradition, and the players and the coaches, and I think the community looks forward to it each and every year, and certainly 2022 is no exception. It was a tremendous year for Ranger football, as we just said. A lot of good times, a lot of good memories, outstanding records at every level, district championships at all levels, from 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, JV, varsity levels. It's kind of hard to top that. I guess you can tie it one year or the other, but just a tremendous year. And those things, as I've said before, though, do not happen by accident or by chance. We have tremendous support from our parents, our community. Friday night, Ranger Stadium is a happening event, and the crowds that we get on the road and our community support, our support from our faculty and staff is felt by our players and felt by our coaches and our entire football program. And we're very fortunate to what we have here at Smithson Valley. I've been here a while. But prior to that while, I was at other places, and many of our coaches have been at other places prior to their arrival here. And we know that what we have is not uncommon, or is not common. And many times when you have a year like this, our players and oftentimes the head coach get notoriety or interviewed or get praise thrown their way. And certainly in our players' case, that is warranted, but that's normal and that's good. But sometimes what goes unnoticed by the outside world, from the outside world, is the work of our assistant coaches. The phrase I use is we jump in a submarine about the end of July, and really the submarine doesn't come up really until the last game in this year in December. It's a 7-day-a-week, 5-month grind, and I'm very proud of our assistant coaches, many of whom have been here for a long time. Others have come in more recent years, but all have blended together, worked together with all of our teams at all levels. And, they're great coaches. I'm proud to have them on our staff. I'm proud to work with those guys. And, but I think more importantly, they're good at their craft. They're good at their trade. They're good at what they coach. But at the same time, they're also great men, great role models. I never aspire for our players to want to grow up and be a football coach. If they want to do that, that's fine. I don't know if I'd recommend it or not, but if so. But what I would like is for them to want to grow up and do at their job or their role as husbands and fathers and employees or employers maybe, to do it like maybe their position coach did, to show the same level of dedication and attention to detail. And we do hope that they carry that with them, because they won't get to play football for long. That's what makes this year so special. You don't get to do it forever, but you need to make it count, and then you need to carry some lessons with you when you leave. And I'm extremely proud of these guys, our assistant coach. I'm proud my sons got to play for some of these guys back when they were here. And of course, we have tremendous coaches' wives, as well. I just mentioned the submarine going down. Oftentimes, if they're here, and they're here for a great bit of each day throughout those 5 months, that means they're not somewhere else, like at home. And, balancing the role of husband and father, with all that they're doing here with your sons, is a tough act. And real proud of that, and appreciative of our coaches' wives. And at this time, I would like to introduce our coaches. If you would, coaches, just kind of stand where you are and wave your hand. And if you'll hold your applause, I'll introduce them all, and then we can give them a round of applause as it wraps up. Of course, I'm Larry Hill, as I mentioned, our trainer, head athletic trainer, working primarily with football during that time of year is Brian Zettler. Coach BZ is here somewhere. Coach Robert Touton. Yeah, his trainers clapped for him. They didn't listen to me. Working with our offensive line, we had Coach Robert Touton and James Cook. They're both there in the back. Working with our safeties for the 29th year is Coach Doug Albrecht. Our defensive coordinator, working with our linebackers for the 30th year here, is Coach Craig Worstifer. Our wide receiver coach, Coach Bryn Jones. Our defensive coach and our defensive ends, Coach Chad Haug. Our defensive tackles were coached by Coach Ishan Risen. Cornerbacks, working with our corners, and also our kicker, Brian Worstifer. And our running back coach is Coach Josh Samora. And coaching our tight ends, our fullback types, Coach Tony Trevino. Our offensive coordinator and quarterback coach is Glenn Hill. And working with our sub-varsities, Coach Chad Kell, Coach Jason Thomason, Coach Alan Lynch, and Lane Bowman. So real proud of these guys and what they've done, and if you would give them a round of applause, I'd appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you to those coaches. And at this time, we'll plunge into our introductions. As soon as I find my what's next notes here, we'll do that. Here we go. We're going to start with introducing our freshman and JV teams, and then also some of our support staff, some of our support personnel, our video crews, our student trainers, people that work behind the scenes to make our program what it is. But our freshman group, I'd like to start before bringing Coach Haug up for those introductions. I want to thank our freshman football reps, Shelley Hornsby and Lacey Washburn, served as our freshman reps, did a fabulous job of organizing our parents, keep it being a communicative tool between the coaching staff and our parents, and makes our job so much easier. This is another class, like some that have gone before them, that has already shown us great things. They had great success coming up through the middle school, so we weren't surprised, I guess I would say, that they had the kind of year that they did, but of course played two freshman teams, a blue team and a white team. Blue team went 10-0. Our white team was 7-2. We district champions at both levels. But more than the winning and losing, they impressed us with what they showed this year. It's not hard to look and say, this is a group that's going to make some noise in the years to come. And we're extremely excited what they have done. We're excited about the potential. And to talk and introduce them briefly, I'm going to bring up Coach Chad Haug. Coach?
Hey guys, y'all come on up. We're going to introduce you guys here real quick. Like Coach said, this is a great group with exception with their record. They won a district championship. Some of those other stats with that, both teams accumulated 9 shutouts, outscored their opponent by 21 points or more in 10 games. That's a pretty tough task to do, and they were able to do that. What we're going to do here is I'm going to introduce them, and they are going to step forward, and we should be able to get all of them on here. Okay, guys, as you hear your name, go ahead and step forward. Phillip Smith, defensive back, wide receiver. Blayton Camacho, defensive back, wide receiver. Liam McGee, defensive back, wide receiver. Liam Trainer, defensive line, quarterback. Jake Kirk, defensive back, running back. Julian Martinez, linebacker, quarterback. Colton Hornsby, linebacker, quarterback. Brody Wick, defensive back, quarterback. Braden O'Malley, linebacker, running back. Adam DeHoyas, D-line, tight end. Aiden Verrett, linebacker, tight end. Wyatt George, linebacker, running back. Gus Cervantes, defensive line, running back. Caleb Burrow, defensive line, tight end. Christian Norman, defensive back, running back. Brian Hummel, linebacker, running back. Cannon Wheeler, defensive line, offensive line. Aiden George, linebacker, offensive line. Briley Bowman, linebacker, offensive line. Kyle Bierman, linebacker, offensive line. Richard Meffert, D-line, offensive line. Jackson Kimnitz, defensive line, offensive line. Benjamin Highsmith, defensive line, offensive line. Caleb Medell Hernandez, linebacker, tight end. Sawyer White, linebacker, and tight end. To conclude with this group, these young men had a fine freshman season. Every game they represented you in this community well with their display of class, discipline, and effort. They are continuing that right now in their off season to build the Smithson Valley culture. We as coaches are excited about this group, and we're looking forward to seeing them grow in their 2023 season. This is your 2022 freshman football team.
Thank you, Coach Haug, and congrats again to our freshman team. Just doesn't seem like too many years ago, those guys in the back, those varsity guys that we're getting ready to introduce and talk in great length, in great detail about their season, they were up here as freshmen, or even go back a few years that they're coming into 7th grade football camp, or prior to that, maybe I'm speaking to the youth league and they're down there playing 4th, 5th, 6th grade football. That's how programs are built, and these guys are those freshmen are another indication of that. And this group we'll talk about next, our 2 junior varsity teams, just yet another example of that. Guys that have come up, kind of ultimate goal to get to that Friday night, to get to run out there, get to play in games that are broadcast live, to get in some neat stadiums, to play in some big-time settings. There's steps to that. You don't get to just snap your fingers and do that. You've got to start at those levels, and then these guys, of course, reach in the last level before they jump off, and it's a tough thing, but they can smell it. And meanwhile, they play their own season, and as we'll talk about, have done extremely well. Allison Wilson and Tawny Day were our JV parent reps. We want to thank them for, much like we mentioned, the 2 ladies that helped our freshman teams, just communicating with JV parents, game site changes, getting them to booster events such as this, and, just making our jobs as coaches so much easier. And, that's a volunteer position, certainly one that they don't have to do, but we want to thank them for doing that. Our JV teams, of course, much like our freshmen, we had 2 teams, had 2 JVs, got a lot of players wanting to play. Again, our blue team was 8-2, lost their 2 non-district games, real close games to start, and then reeled off 8 in a row. And our white team was 8-1, and both, again, much like we said with the freshmen, going undefeated in district play and winning district championships. 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, JV, varsity, not only were district champs, but did not lose a district game at any level, and these guys exemplified that as well as anyone. All the while they're doing that and having that kind of on-the-field success, all the while they're practicing alongside of and oftentimes against one one of the best teams in the state of Texas, going up and against the varsity on a daily basis. So it's a tough job. It's kind of that last step, as we mentioned earlier, and these are a quality group of young men, and we're very excited about it. And at this time, Coach Bowman's going to come up, and he's going to introduce our 2022 JV players. Coach?
All right, welcome. At this time, I'll talk about and introduce the two junior varsity football teams. Both teams were district champs, like Coach Hill said, with a combined record of 16-3. The two losses the blue team had was by a total of 6 points. That's something to be proud of. Now, while the JV is trying to get better and win games, at the same time, they're also tasked with the job of being the scout team for the varsity offense, defense, and special teams. They spend a lot of time running down on scout team for kickoff, lining up a punt, scout look, and then line up various other areas. This is kind of a thankless job, but is a huge job nonetheless that they took very seriously. Our varsity had the kind of run they did in part to the effort given to them, an excellent look out of the scout team. We really appreciate your efforts this past season, fellas. You showed us that you're a group of guys we can go to battle with, and this is another SV team that is full of count on me guys. Appreciate it. All right, you first guys, come on up. All right, just hold your applause, if you would, until the very end. Dallas Clark, wide receiver, defensive back. Cisco Carvajal, quarterback, linebacker. Brody Day, wide receiver, defensive back. Trenton Amaya, place kicker. Charles Whelan, wide receiver, DB. Parker Moeller, wide receiver, DB. Hunter Pavlik, wide receiver, DB. Daniel DeHoyas, running back, defensive back. Jordan Leonardo, running back, defensive back. Matt Perez, tight end, linebacker. Bo Martin, tight end, linebacker. Chandler Stewart, running back, linebacker. Andrew Smith, running back, DB. Aiden Fulton, tight end, D end. Bennett Cote, offensive line, defensive line. Parker Miller, offensive line, defensive line. And Marcus Solis, offensive line, defensive line. All right, next group here, we've got Landon Hudson, offensive line, defensive line. Asher Viale, offensive line, linebacker. Ryan Prudell, offensive line, defensive line. Jacob DeSantis, offensive line, defensive line. Ian Molina, offensive line, defensive line. Gabe Rodriguez, offensive line, defensive line. Gavin Rodriguez, offensive line, defensive line. Jensen Olesko, offensive line, defensive line. Tyler Gibbons, offensive line, defensive line. Travis Collins, offensive line, defensive line. Aiden Keck, offensive line, defensive line. Dylan Garner, wide receiver, defensive back. Hunter Dow, wide receiver, defensive back. Jackson Tillery, tight end, defensive end. And Preston Baker, tight end, defensive end. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Bowman, and again, congratulations to our JV. Like I said, isn't quite their time when you're doing that, but time's getting here now, and you'll be the ones we're bragging on next. There's no question about that. So congrats on your year. Anybody that's familiar with how we operate our program know that there has to be clearly a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and when you have a program like ours, a season like ours, the exposure that our guys get, whether warranted or not, interviews on the air time, that kind of thing. But then there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that people that aren't getting interviewed or aren't getting their stuff splashed all over social media. But without them, we don't have the type of program that we have. And while maybe unrecognized or underappreciated by outsiders, I think our coaches and our players understand. They take it for granted. They come off the field, they walk right into a meeting room and watch what just happened on the field and get coached up on it. I mean, that goes on every day. You almost take it for granted. You don't realize somebody's filming that, somebody's uploading that, somebody's pushing the right buttons, clicking the mouse the right way so that can happen. Same thing, with our injuries. We've got a first-rate training staff, with BZ and his staff, but we have student trainers that do what they're directed to do by those leaders and get our players healthy and back on the field. And once again, that's not who they're having on as the halftime guest commentator. Or, that's not who the newspaper reporter that comes in the locker room. Hey, can I interview one of your drone guys that film with drones? They're not doing that. But we appreciate them, and I'd like to bring them up and let them be recognized at this time. And we're going to start with our video crew. We've got guys that fly the little things that sound like weed eaters if you're ever at a practice. You're looking up and what's going on, but they're filming it from the front, from the back, from the side, from up high, immediately running it inside, getting it uploaded to our computer. Just allow us to do what we do in a timely manner, and I want to introduce these young men. Our first is Corey Bierman. Corey's a senior. It's his first year, came in this off season and immediately a very big role for us as one of our morning filmers. We practice at 6:30. Well, we got to film at 6:30, so somebody's got to do that at 6:30, and we could always count on Corey to show up no matter the hour or the weather, and he played a pivotal role in this year's success. Next, we got Connor Gale. Connor is also a senior. He's done this now for 2 years, and his second year, and we couldn't have operated without him. He filmed the mornings. He also filmed our practices during fourth period, and he was very instrumental in getting that uploaded in a timely manner as soon as practice was over. So we appreciate these two guys and their efforts, and I'd like you to give them a round of applause. Of course, thank you. Our next group to be recognized is our student trainers, the ones that help get our players back out on the field or get their injuries treated in a top-notch way. And BZ, our head trainer, Brian Zettler, kind of rides herd on this crew, and so I'm going to let him have the mic and introduce and talk about his athletes or his trainers. Coach.
Thank you, Coach. Howdy, y'all. We got a bunch of them. We're going to wait just a minute. Don't fall. All right, guys. As Coach said, no way we could do it without these young ladies that are up here today. And these are all the student athletic trainers that are in attendance with us tonight. We have a couple that couldn't make it for whatever reason. But to start off our freshman class, freshmen, if y'all want to step forward for me. Excellent. Lily Broussard. Madeline Harrison, Ayla North, Emily Ramirez. Thank you, girls. Our sophomore class. You can hold your applause to the end. It's okay. Emma Brennan, Reagan Dennis, Avery Trussell, and Tatum Tater Tot Williams. There you go. I couldn't resist. By the way, all these girls deserve hazard pay for having to endure my dad jokes all year long. So our juniors. We have Lauren Barefoot, Peyton Keith, and Presley Smith. Thank you, girls. And this is this next group is our senior class. This class is special to me, and they will always be special to me because it was, gosh dang it, it was my first class when I came in. So these girls are very special. I love them all like they're mine, but this is my first group, so there's a pretty good attachment to them. Just one by one. Kinsey Armstrong. Kinsey's been with our program for 3 years. She plans to attend Texas A&M and study forensic science. Okay. Reagan Bolt. Reagan's been with the program. I like it. Reagan's been with the program all 4 years, and she plans to attend Texas A&M and study sports medicine. So she's a little special to me for those 2 reasons, I guess. Riley Crow. Riley's only been with us 1 year, but she has been very valuable to our program, and she's contributed quite a bit. She plans to attend UTSA and study business. Thank you. Sarah Frazier. Sarah's special. She's an early graduate, so she actually finished up here in December. She is a academic all-state with the Texas State Athletic Trainers Association. She plans to attend Texas Tech and study psychology. Thank you. Our next is Layla Medina. I've nicknamed her Pequeña, so that's okay. I had to get you one last time. I'm sorry. Layla's been with us all 4 years. She plans to attend the College of Healthcare Professions and study to be a medical assistant and traveling nurse. She also is an early graduate from high school. Great job, Layla. All right, Abby Thompson. Abby also plays girls soccer for us. It's her first year in the program, but she's been around it quite a bit with her attachment to the soccer team, and she's been very valuable to helping us out. She plans to attend Texas A&M again and study kinesiology and exercise science. And last but not least is Holly Waltman. Holly also is a academic all-state recipient from the Texas State Athletic Trainers Association. She's been with us all 4 years. And all these seniors, they've been great leaders for the program. But she plans to attend Tarleton, and she's going to study kinesiology. And our student athletic trainers. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you, BZ, and thank you to our student trainers for all that you do. Just like our video crew, just so such big unsung roles that we're extremely appreciative of. Now, before we introduce our varsity football team, we're going to kind of kick it off with kind of getting some of those memories going again. Bo Wick of the Rangers Network has put together just a short little highlight thing for us to watch for just a few minutes to kind of get us reliving that 2022 season. And I know it'll be great, so I'm excited to watch it. So, Bo, when you're ready, let's roll it.
Alongside Brian Hill, I'm Brian Freeman, and Brian, Smithson Valley is back under the lights of Ranger Stadium to face a quality non-district opponent in Harker Heights. Here's a snap, set down. Amaya has the leg and then some and knocks that one right through. Putting the Rangers in midfield. Sedlick going deep, got a man. Hunt, he's got him in stride for the touchdown. So Harker Heights comes to the Ranger Stadium and comes away with a 27-13 win.
Pass out to Clark on the near side. Gets a blocker, then makes a man miss him. Makes another miss him down the sideline. He's got it. Touchdown, Rangers. It's fielded. Brought near side. That's De Hoyos. Breaks a couple of tackles. Has the sideline. Has one man to beat. He's pushed out of bounds inside the 30. Senelek fakes a handoff. Has a post route. Hunt. Did he get it?
He got it.
Touchdown, Rangers. They jump. Free play. And a catch is made, and it'll be a touchdown. Running the distance is Colin Wise, the senior.
Third down, Senelek, a strike caught by TJ Hunt. Hunt gets a block from Clark. Hunt inside the 20. TJ Hunt is gone. Touchdown, Smithson Valley, 57 yards. Empty backfield. Here's Adams. Here's the rush. Here's Gavin Woods and takes him down. This is a run off the right side, but Fetus slams his way into a defender and into the end zone for the touchdown, trucking right over James Sobervia, and Smithson Valley now on top 20-0. Saying good night from Ranger Stadium. Final score, Smithson Valley 35, Canyon nothing. Live from Ranger Stadium, it is Texas high school football on the Rangers Network, and this District 12 5A game is underway. And what a big return to start things off for Smithson Valley. Kyler Clark on the opening kickoff, all the way for the Rangers touchdown. Allowed in 6 consecutive quarters. On third down and long, that pass intercepted at the 40 by Ross. On the return inside the 20, and goodbye, he's gone. And the Rangers remain unbeaten in District 12 5A play. One that they looked dominant from the start, the opening kickoff back for a touchdown, and the Rangers never let up on their way, Joe, to an impressive 48-0 win over Lehman.
Another District 12 5A game here on tap at Northeast Stadium tonight. Good evening, everyone. I'm Tony Brubaker along with Brian Hill as we bring you the Smithson Valley Rangers and the McCarthy Brahmas. Chase fakes. No, he gives it to Lance off left tackle. He's in the end zone. Another touchdown for Doug Lance. A standout on the freshman team for several weeks. He gets his chance on the varsity, and on his first touch, the freshman Quentin Sampson scores the touchdown for the Rangers and makes it 34 with the extra point to come. Walker takes the snap, gives it to Vivians. A hole on the right side. He's through it, and he's to the end zone. 15-10, 5 touchdown Rangers.
The hottest team of the district plays for win number 6 in a row tonight as the Smithson Valley Rangers host the champion Chargers on a 78-degree night from Spring Branch. First down just outside the red zone. There's Hunt over the middle, makes a move into the end zone for another touchdown.
by McInvale. Over the middle, picked off. Gavin Woods has it. He'll return it, cuts inside. Now inside the 15, inside the 10 before he's dragged out of bounds. So the Rangers will have a short field on a turnover. Four men out, all going on fly patterns. Over the middle of the field, it's going to be picked off.
Great coverage by Ross. It almost looked like he was running the route more so than the wide receiver was.
Face. Sowersby again makes another man miss, and he's going to the end zone, and I believe he's in. It should be a touchdown because he had the ball going over the plane, and Brad Sowersby has his third touch. So the Rangers win it. They go to 8-1 overall, 6-0 in district play. Hayes falls to 2-4 and 5-4.
Senelik goes to the air and has a man, and still on his feet is Quentin Sampson. Football off and running around the end, and with some running room and more, Isaiah Vivians, and he's going to go all the way into the end zone, 92 yards for the touchdown.
And welcome to Ranger Stadium. Friday night football by district playoff action as the Rangers play host to the Timberwolves of Cedar Park. I saw Gavin Woods wrap him up. I don't know if somebody else might have poked it away.
I think Gavin knocked it away.
Okay.
I think Gavin knocked it away.
Amaya's kick has got the distance, and
That's
it's
good.
through. Rangers almost there again. Not a good one. De Hoyos will field it at the 28. Comes near sideline, breaks a couple of tackles. Now he's on the loose. He's got a chance to take it to the house if he gets one block. Doesn't, and he does,
Touchdown.
all the way to the end zone.
Special teams.
Some pressure. Here they come. Smith gets rid of it, and it's picked off. Secondary has it, moving up the field. A good job by the secondary. That's the middle linebacker, Lane Richard, and the Rangers are back on offense. Clark at the 2. Takes it far sideline. Has a seam. Has a lane. One man to beat. Now Pursuit catches up, but he's still loose. Can he win the foot race?
I think he did.
He'll go the distance. Kyler Clark did it for the Rangers.
That's how.
Pressure again. And they got him, and the ball's loose.
Back.
And we fell on it.
Oh, yeah.
Rangers have it. Takes a knee. That'll be the final play. We're under 40 seconds to go, and the Rangers will win this one 38-28. breaks containment. Now,
Ball's
and he
on the
drops
ground.
the ball, and the Rangers have it. Before they'll throw it. There's a pick by Duffy. He's got only the quarterback to beat, and the quarterback, Williams, will take him out, but inside the 15, the Rangers are back in business. Senlick wants to throw. It's a quick out. That's Sampson, the freshman. Breaks a tackle. Breaks another tackle. Down the sideline. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown! Play action. We've got pressure on him, and we'll pull him down. That is McLean Garrett again in the backfield. Final score of 31-13. Quite an interesting game in so many ways, Brad, but this is a game that all Ranger fans will be certainly tickled by. Smithson Valley Rangers and College Station Cougars get ready for some state quarterfinal football. Brian Hill, Tony Brubaker, glad you could join us. Rangers, another kickoff. This end-over-end kick will be fielded again about the 20. This is Bafidas. He's got some room on the near sideline. One man to beat. He's in the loose to the 40. If he gets by one more, but he can't as the pursuit catches up. And he's got a good Ranger start to a drive as he's inside their 30-yard line. He wants to throw. He's got Clark near the end zone. At the 2, he makes the catch.
A one-score game.
Right here, right now. Motion to Hoyas. Left side. Powers his way in the end zone, and that's a touchdown for the Rangers. 38 to go.
See the replay here. I thought Gavin was going to rip that thing out right there.
He was trying.
See if we can get good.
Snap's good.
Oh,
we
got
got it in there. The ball's down. We're going to tackle him at the 5, the 6, the 7. They spun him down at the 4.
Let's go.
34 seconds to go. It's Ranger ball.
Thank you, Bo, for putting that together and, just kind of jump-starting us a little bit as far as getting ready to introduce these guys and talk about this special season. I mentioned the 7th grade. I mentioned the 8th grade. I mentioned the 9th grade. I mentioned the JV and the successes they had. And now we're going to talk about these guys who's it was their time. We're talking about the others. Their time is coming. It was these guys' time. And before we begin, I want to say a word of thanks, as I have with the other teams, to our parent reps, Jennifer Senlick, Beth Stone. They were our varsity reps, and just every year our level of support and commitment from our parents and fans seems to grow, and these families, these two have taken that great tradition and extended it even more, and I know there were a great many helpers helping them along the way. But the Maynard family, taking our teams in, Our team dinners on Wednesday, and I know there's a great many parent volunteers who assisted them, and our moms that come in on Thursdays and take care of our helmets and get them that shiny, iconic helmet that we have, and coming in and doing that, and all of that we've mentioned, their sacrifices of their time and their effort for what we're trying to do is greatly appreciated. and Bo Wick, who we mentioned, one of the highlights, he and Emily and all the Rangers network, producing the game broadcast, the coaches show. It's the envy of everyone in the state. It's first rate, and we thank them. Now, this particular team that we're going to introduce and talk about now was really born about a year ago in our boot camp in 2022. And, they took it upon themselves and made themselves, a pact that we're going to have a phenomenal year. And as with every team, there are whispers in the community that we lost this guy or lost these guys, and we lost some good players, and we did. We always lose some good seniors. And after the 2021 season, is 2022 going to be a rebuilding year or is it going to be a surge year? What's it going to be? And, when you play at Smithson Valley and the proud tradition that's behind you and the brotherhood of the guys who've come before you, we never want our tradition to be a burden or an albatross to our players. We want them to be something that inspires confidence because they've done it before here. We're playing new people, playing in a new division, a bunch of new opponents, and so there's a little uncertainty as we went into the season. But they refused to let anyone else dictate what kind of season we were going to have, and they took it upon themselves to do it the right way, the Ranger way, and achieve. And, as always, unfortunately, when you play at a place like ours, you're targeted every week. Your opponents have circled your game on the calendar because of what has gone on before you got here. You're the team to beat. You're the one that maybe they don't like, or you're the ones maybe they envy, but you're certainly the one that they're trying to measure up to, and that makes it tough. Winning is hard. Continuing to win over a long period of time is even harder. These guys had a 9-1 regular season, losing only one non-district game to a 6A quarterfinalist team who was an outstanding team in their own, and then they went and ran the table and went 7-0. To win a district championship, our 17th district championship in our school's history, and they go along beside those other 16 that came before them, and they won 3 playoff games in a row, and arguably the toughest bracket throughout the state to have to go through. They advanced to the state quarterfinal round. They joined 8 of their brothers before them. They're the 9th team in school history to do that. They ranked in the state's top 10. Joining another brotherhood of teams that finished the year ranked that way. 56 of their players were academic all-district. That's over 70% of our team. So these are not just good football players and athletes. These are students and who excel in other areas. Only seniors can be nominated and thus picked or selected to be academic all-state. We had 14 of our seniors that were so honored. And when you consider the difficulty of the schedule and all that we were up against, those are truly amazing feats. But, what I just read to you is really just statistics. I mean, they're impressive statistics, but really they're just statistics. The real pleasure is just watching this group of young men come together and forge a relationship that will last a lifetime, even though these particular players won't play again together. Some are coming back, some are moving on, and we certainly anticipate extending our tradition in the next year and the years to come. But we're here tonight to celebrate these guys. They liked each other, they liked this game, they liked the Ranger way, and they're showing teams down the road how it's supposed to be done. And I enjoyed working with them every day, and they made me proud, not just that they won, but how they won and how they carried themselves. And there are a lot of individual achievements along the way, and we'll talk about some of those as these players come forward. But how they put the team above self and excelled, it was truly amazing to watch. And now I'd like to introduce these young men to you, tell you about their accomplishments, and we're going to start with our offensive linemen. So Coach Touton and Coach Cook will bring those guys up. Okay. We're going to introduce these guys to you now, and they'll step forward, and I'll talk about them, and then he'll step back, and you can give him a round of applause before we move on to the next one. We're going to start with Sam Martinez. Sam's a senior, played offensive tackle for us, a one-year letterman. Continued to improve every week and every year that he played at Smithson Valley. Very committed to our football team, played whatever role necessary, and he played a valuable role as a backup and also on our scout team. Worked hard to know his assignments, and when it was his time to play on game night, he always performed at the highest level that he could. A real team guy, and we will miss him. Sam Martinez. Next is Major Trevino. Major's a junior. He too is an offensive tackle. He's a one-year letterman now. He was academic all-district. Gave us valuable depth in the offensive line. Saw time at both right tackle and left tackle. Very versatile player. His grasp of the game plan and what we were trying to do gave us confidence as coaches in his preparation and his ability to perform each week. And he's a junior, so we're expecting great things from him as a senior next year, and we're looking forward to seeing what he will do in 2023. Major Trevino. Next is Trajan Falk, another junior, another offensive tackle, another one-year letterman. Trajan was also academic all-district, so a fine student as well. Very smart player on the field as well as off. Gained a lot of experience on his path this year. Gained a lot of experience as a junior, and which will allow him to have a bigger role next year. He's an all-in kind of guy, and always working hard to be the best that he can be with his work ethic. And he'll have a solid offseason. He'll have a solid spring, and we look forward to his contributions in 2023. Trajan Falk. Reese Anderson. Reese is another of our juniors, played a little bit of tackle, played a lot of center, first-year letterman. Reese was academic all-district, very player, has great discipline and plays with great effort. He did a great job of preparing in his backup role, and then when that became a starting role in some instances, he was ready, and he accepted that challenge, and he played at a high level. Being young and the kind of worker that he is, that high level is going to get only higher as he moves through the offseason in the spring. We're going to get that leg well, and we're going to keep working, and we're excited to see what he'll do next year. That's Reese Anderson. Next is Jackson Bolt. Jackson's a senior, played center for us, one-year letterman, showed great desire, and he showed what that desire can turn into. He persevered. He came through the program and he persevered and found a way to fill a role for us. Worked hard to recognize alignments, worked hard at his assignments. When called upon, he performed at a high level, and we wish him well in the years ahead, and we're glad to have had him in our program. Jackson Bolt. Next, we'd introduce Jeremiah Jenkins. Jeremiah is a junior, offensive tackle, one-year letterman. On the field, he was an honorable mention all-district player. Over the summer, I think Jeremiah decided to take a step forward and become a real valuable part of our 2022 football team. He used his potential to go ahead and now maximize that and live up to that potential. He worked hard. He impressed his coaches with his effort, his attention to detail. He saw time at both right tackle and left tackle, started games at both of those, continued to improve week in and week out. He was a major contributor to our run, getting to the quarterfinals. With a great offseason, he can become a major force on next year's team. Jeremiah Jenkins. Next, we'd introduce Nate Garza. Nate is a senior. Nate played offensive guard, one-year letterman. He was a valuable backup in the offensive line who at times saw times on both sides, and every week worked hard to be his best. His accountability, his work ethic enabled him to make the most of his playing time opportunities. A very competitive young man, and that competitive rubbed off on others, and his team-first attitude allowed his teammates to trust him and help make our O-line one of the best around, and we wish him well in the years ahead as he moves on. Nate Garza. Next, I'd introduce Tegan Owsley. Tegan's a senior, Offensive tackle, 2-year letterman. Tegan was first team all-district at offensive tackle. His competitiveness and his desire to improve and the rate he improved made him a tremendous success in his senior year. He was a good player before, became an even better player because he was very diligent in the film room, paid attention, worked hard on the field at the little parts of his game that allowed him to separate himself from some of his opponents. Very physical player, had the respect of his teammates. He's a good example for our younger players to see what hard work and perseverance and consistency can do, because it wasn't that many years ago that Tegan was just joining our program, and I don't know that we would have predicted this kind of ending. So we're very proud of him and wish him the best moving forward. Tegan Owsley. Next, I'd introduce Gavin Garcia. Gavin's a junior. He's an offensive guard, first year to letter. He was an academic all-district player, getting it done in the classroom as well. A very solid player who was a part-time starter, in and out, saw time at both guards and gave us depth in the offensive line. Very strong player, very physical player, and a very sound technician. A kid that's constantly looking to improve and made great improvement as the season went on. And he's got very natural leadership skills, and others are going to follow him because of the way he carries himself on a daily basis. Going to have a great spring, going to have a great senior year. We're lucky to have him back. Gavin Garcia. Next is Drew Abear. Drew's a senior, an offensive guard, first year to letter. Decided he was going to make the best of his senior year and went to work to become the best player that he could be. And he gave us depth at the guard position, worked hard to make others around him better. And as the year went on, his attention to detail gave him the tools to perform when his opportunities came, and they did come. And I'm glad they came, and I'm glad that he got the opportunity to be with us this year. He's a team player that we'll miss next year. Drew Abear. Next is Gunnar Hansen, a senior, played guard and tackle, 2-year letterman. He began the year as our starting guard and played extremely well. And at times, as I said, played some at tackle, and then a shoulder injury sidelined him temporarily. He was able to battle back from that and play those two positions as he came back and played at a high level, and then injured his shoulder again and unfortunately had to have season-ending surgery. He is a Ranger player. He's a Ranger man and a team player, and kept encouraging his teammates even though his health wouldn't allow him to continue. Players like Gunnar are what makes teams great, and we will miss him next year. Gunnar Hansen. Next is Ty Stone. Ty is a center, offensive tackle, back and forth several times on that. Ty's a 2-year letterman. He was academic all-district. He was honorable mention on the academic all-state team, so getting it done in the classroom. He was also first team all-district, selected by the coaches of our league at offensive tackle, and was voted one of our captains. I guess he could best be described as a coach on the field who played very, very well. Sometimes you get guys that get the game. Sometimes you get guys who can play the game. Sometimes you get guys that get the game and can play the game. He knew the assignment of every position on the line, and he knew how to execute it, and he executed as well as anybody around. You add that to his energy level, which was hard to match, and you end up with a really good football player. Because of his leadership and his care for his teammates and his desire to make our program the best, as I said, his teammates voted him captain. He's a great example to our younger players of what is expected from a Ranger football player. We're proud to have had him. We'll miss him sorely. Ty Stone. Next is Will Mack. Will's a junior, offensive guard, first year to letter. He was academic all-district, and the opposing coaches voted him second team all-district at guard. He moved to Smithson Valley last spring and then quickly embraced what we know as Ranger football. He got in the culture. He got in with the guys, and his desire to improve and his drive to be part of what we do and be a part of his new teammates was apparent, and our players quickly welcomed him into the brotherhood. played at extremely high level. I think the sky's the limit. He's got great size. He's got great ability. He's got great work ethic. And, having the kind of offseason that he is having and is going to have, he could be one of the more dominant offensive linemen that you'll see next year and help take our team where we want to go. So we have high expectations for him. We're glad we're having him. Will Mack. Our next senior is Colton Thomason. Of course, Colton signed with Texas A&M, so he's watching via satellite tonight. But nonetheless, he is here in the wave, in the air somewhere. He's a senior, offensive guard, tackle. Colton was a 4-year letterman, academic all-district. He's also honorable mention academic all-state. He was first team on the all-district team, unanimous selection. And this Sunday will be in the addition, he'll be an all-San Antonio area player as well. And he too, as we mentioned, was voted captain by his teammates. He's been a big part of our team for 4 years, and it's hard to imagine moving on. Well, it seems like he's been here as long as I have, but there are a lot of distractions when you're an early commit. It gets a lot of recruiting attention. It's real easy to get wrapped up in that. And the thing I was most proud of was, he never let that become the thing. He's always about these guys and our team, and obviously played at a high level. That goes without saying. But he's a natural leader. He made it. It was important for him to his teammates to excel, not just himself. And he loves Smithson Valley football. Helped get us where we went. And we wish him the best in his time ahead. And we thank him for the way he carried himself and the way he played for 4 years. Colton Thompson. And last but certainly not least, we have Garrett Blanchard, another senior. Garrett's an offensive guard, 1-year letterman. He was academic all-district, and he too was academic all-state. Only the seniors can do that. We can nominate him, but someone has to pick them, and they picked his resume out of the pile, so to speak. So started on special teams some in a couple of our units throughout the year and gave us depth at the guard position. Very smart player, understood the game, prepared each week, and made the most of his opportunities when they came. A total team player, gave his best every day and every Friday night, and helped make our O-line one of the best in 2022. We appreciate all that he's done, and we will miss him. Garrett Blanchard. That's our offensive line right there. I'm going to shift gears and hop over to the other side of the ball now. We're going to kind of flip-flop on that as we go through these. Going to introduce and talk about our linebackers now, guys on defense. And just like we did there, we'll do them one at a time, and you can give them applause when we're through talking about that individual player. Our first introduction is Braxton Alexander. Braxton's a junior, linebacker, like they all are, 1-year letterman. He was academic all-district. Very valuable role, and performed a very valuable role for us this year as a backup linebacker, and on the field quite a bit of special teams as well. He worked hard to improve as the year went on, and it really, the light bulb kind of went off, and you just really saw him about mid-season really make a turn and play up to the potential we know he has, and of course he's still got some time ahead. On the field, he had 16 tackles on the year. One was for a tackle for loss. And with the offseason that he's having and is going to have, we're excited to see what he will do next year. We're glad to have him back. Braxton Alexander. Next linebacker is Cannon Day. Cannon's another junior linebacker, another 1-year letterman, another academic all-district guy. He worked hard to get on the varsity as a junior and was willing to do what we needed him to do. Gave us depth at outside linebacker and on the special teams. Made the most of his playing time opportunities. He had 12 tackles on the year, 1 for a loss. He had a quarterback hurry as well. He's a great teammate, and he's working real hard, and he knows what's ahead, and he's prepping for it. He's doing it exactly right, and we'll be fortunate to have him back. Cannon Day. Next is Nicholas Dudzikowski. junior, linebacker, one-year letterman. He was academic all-district and also voted first-team all-district by the opposing coaches. Started at outside linebacker for us this year and made a huge impact. He missed his sophomore year due to injury, made up for it pretty quick in his junior year. Showed great instincts to become our second leading tackler. He had 114 tackles, 22 for loss, 3 sacks, and 8 hurries. He caused 4 fumbles. He recovered a fumble. He had 3 interceptions, and one of those he returned for a touchdown. So, you know, he's showing up in the stat column, which is one thing, but he's a very smart player who makes others around him better too, and that doesn't necessarily show up, and he's the total package there. And of course, he's a junior, working hard, got a chance to be even better in 2023, so we're glad he's back. Nicholas Dudzikowski. Next is Nolan Donovan. Nolan's a senior, linebacker, one-year letterman. He gave us valuable depth this year at multiple linebacker spots in his first year on varsity. Very smart player, always willing to do what was necessary to help our team, worked extremely hard, whether it was on defense or on the scout team. He's a joy to coach, and his main concern seemed to be our team's success. And when his opportunities came in the game, he made the most of it. Had 3 tackles on the year. We're proud of his contributions, and we'll miss him next year. Nolan Donovan. Next is Tommy Elliott, senior, linebacker, one-year letterman. Tommy was academic all-district, contributed in a lot of ways this year, both at linebacker and on the special teams. He's kind of a model, prototypical Smithson Valley guy, with his work ethic and his attitude and what I need to do to help this team win. He had 24 tackles on the year. One of those was for a loss. He also had a caused fumble. Very physical and tough player. The program means a lot to Tommy, and because of that, Tommy, he means a lot to our program, and we're proud of what he's done. Tommy Elliott. Next linebacker is Tyler McGinnis, a junior linebacker, one-year letterman. He was academic all-district, gained a lot of valuable experience in his first year on the varsity there at the outside linebacker spot. Used his knowledge of the game. He kind of gets the game, and it puts him in the right place at the right time. He had 7 tackles on the year. 2 of those were for losses. He's got a work ethic. He's got a strong desire to improve, and being a junior, he's working very hard to increase his role in 2023, so we look forward to having him back. Tyler McGinnis. Next is Victor Onyangata. You can't spell that, but Vic's a senior, linebacker, 2-year letterman. We requested that he make a position change as a senior, and he jumped over from running back to linebacker, and it's a good move. Gave us valuable depth at our middle linebacker spot and on our special teams, and he showed instinct and athleticism there. That was a good move for him and for us. His work ethic and willingness to do what we asked him to do showed on the field. He made the most of his chances. He had 6 tackles and a quarterback hurry. And if you want to win games at the highest level, you got to have guys like Vic, and we were fortunate to have had him, and we'll miss him. Victor Onyangata. Next is Lane Richard. Lane's a senior, linebacker, 1-year letterman, academic all-district, and voted second-team all-district by the opposing coaches. As a junior, we asked Lane to play on the JV to give himself an opportunity to play more and improve, and I would think he and all of us would agree that that was a good move. He worked extremely hard and then took that into the spring and the summer and made himself into a starter as a senior. 48 tackles on the year, 5 for loss, 1 hurry, had a big interception in against Manville in the playoffs that helped turn the game. He always knew how he could improve, and he worked tirelessly to do it. And another prime example of it isn't where you start, it's where you finish. And Lane Richard finished in a big way, and we were lucky to have him. Lane Richard. Next is Cade Spradlin. Cade's a sophomore, linebacker, one-year letterman. He was academic all-district. He's also honorable mention all-district on the field. Of course, Cade has come up a quarterback linebacker, moved to full-time linebacker as a sophomore, and was a very valuable part of our defense, very valuable part of our special teams. He's a tremendous athlete who can play a lot of things and probably will continue to do that as we move forward. On the year, he had 40 tackles, 9 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 5 hurries, 2 passes broken up, and he had a fumble recovery. So he has a nose for the ball, and moving to the varsity level as a sophomore didn't make him flinch one iota. His future is very bright. Sky's the limit, and we're glad that he is back for 2 more years. Cade Spradlin. Next is Gavin Woods, senior, linebacker, 3-year letterman, academic all-district, second team on the academic all-state team, all-district first team, district defensive most valuable player. Sunday he'll be recognized as an all-San Antonio first team player and a nominee for the defensive player of the year for the entire area. Also voted captain by his teammates, so he's not just a guy who plays well, but influences others. And we asked him to make a position change 12 months ago. He'd been a premier defensive end, set school record for sacks at defensive end, and then your coach calls him in and say, we're going to change your position. And did so willingly, and became one of the premier linebackers in the state of Texas. And a very smart player, not just a talented player, studies the game, wants to know every detail, and he used that work ethic and that knowledge of the game to record 129 tackles, 15 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, 6 hurries, 4 passes broken up, 2 interceptions, 1 caused fumble. As impressive as those stats are, his most important contribution was probably in the area of leadership. And if you want to know how to get it done, well, there's the guy to watch. We will sure miss him. Gavin Woods. Those are our linebackers. Okay, we're going to flip back over to the offensive side now, and our tight ends and fullbacks work a lot together with our running backs and then also our, what we call our fast fullbacks. So we're going to bring them all up on stage now. Coach Trevino and Coach Samora coach those guys, kind of tag team them. So we're going to bring them up and introduce them one at a time, much like we just got through with the linebackers. We're going to start with the running backs, and then we'll progress to the tight ends and fullbacks. So let's get it going. Our first running back is Kurt Hammond. Kurt's a senior running back, as I said, first year to letter, academic, all-district, and one of just a handful, and I mean a handful, of first-team academic all-state. You figure how many kids play football in the state of Texas, however many that is, a bunch. To be first team, just a handful. So Kurt's not just an athlete. He's a tremendously gifted student as well. Been a part of our program for 4 years. Probably as hard a worker as we've had in our program in a long time. He's developed a reputation being very dependable, very, very rarely made a mistake. He's a role model for our players. He continued to practice hard, made the most of his playing time opportunities, ended the year with over 100 yards rushing and 1 touchdown. And his attitude and effort and the way he carried himself will be sorely missed next year. Kurt Hammock. Next is Isaiah Vivians, senior, running back. Isaiah's a 2-year letterman, been in our program for 4 years. Very committed player, gave full effort each offseason, each in-season. I thought he improved from his junior year to his senior year immensely. Was a quality running back for us, averaged about 8 yards a carry, 335 yards on the year, 4 touchdowns. And he's always been known as a speed guy with potential for big runs, but I think he made himself into a complete football player as well. And a joy to be around, great work ethic, and we're excited about his future as he moves on from Smithson Valley. We're appreciative of his contributions. Isaiah Vivians. Next, Doug Lance, junior, running back, who we also flipped over and got some work from him over at defensive end as well. He's a junior, 2-year letterman, academic all-district, and voted first team all-district at the running back position. He contributed all over the field, a versatile player. He, as I said, running back, defensive end, also in the special teams. 670 yards rushing on the year for 7 touchdowns, a very physical runner who brings a certain level of toughness to your offense. And defensively, on the other side, he had 11 tackles, 2 for loss. He had a sack. He had a fumble recovery, big part of several special teams as well. So we're getting a lot of mileage out of Doug Lance. We're going to continue to get mileage out of him. We've got him back for another year, and we know he's working hard now. We know he's going to continue to work, and we're excited to see what it looks like in 2023. Doug Lance. Next is Brad Soursby, sophomore running back, 1-year letterman. After a very good spring, we decided to make a move and bring Brad to our varsity team, and he contributed for us at both running back and in the special teams. Ran for nearly 300 yards, scored 3 touchdowns, a very talented athletic player with speed. And on the special teams, he recorded 5 tackles and recovered 1 fumble. And again, here's a guy with 2 more years in this offseason so far. You can kind of see a glint there that he's really ramping it up. And, I think it whet his appetite and it made him aware of what he can be. And we're excited about seeing what that is. Looking forward to having him back. Brad Soursby. Moving on to our fullback and tight ends. First is Braden Bafetas, senior, fullback, as I said, 3-year letterman, academic all-district, honorable mention academic all-state, and was voted our district's first team all-district utility player. And I can't think of a player that utility player description describes more than Braden Bafetas. He's the definition of unselfishness and the Ranger way. He took a position change to go to this fullback little hybrid position that we created, and he flourished. Helped us got us where we ended up. He had 40 catches on the year for 289 yards and 4 touchdowns. But he also rushed for 261 yards and 4 more touchdowns. Likewise, he added 23 yards per punt return, including a touchdown. Averaged 24 yards per kickoff return. Covered down on our kickoff team. Whatever hat we asked him to wear, he wore it willingly, worked extremely hard, and furthermore, he excelled. He's probably as fine an all-around football player as we've had in quite some time. We needed a big play. He seemed to provide it, and his contribution will be sorely missed. Braden Bafetas. Next is Mason Birch, senior, tight end, 2-year letterman. He too was academic all-district. He too was honorable mention academic all-state, and he was the all-district first team tight end voted on by the other coaches. He's a hallmark of consistency, not just this year but throughout. He played at a high level week in and week out. He wasn't all over the place. A very physical blocker, but yet he had great hands, and he had a tremendous football IQ. Had 12 catches on the year for 132 yards, and he became an all-around tight end that really our others need to model themselves after. And he also contributed on our special teams. He also contributed in the area of leadership, and both on the field and in the locker room. And he was a presence, and that presence will be sorely missed, but we're thankful for the time that we had him. Mason Birch. Next, I have Raiden Bear. Raiden's a junior, played fullback for us. It was his first year to letter. Like a lot of our players, Raiden was asked to change positions, and he did so willingly to increase his role and learn to play fullback. And he's a hard-nosed kid. He's a gritty player. He practices hard. He's got good speed. That allowed him to learn his new position quickly. Made some solid on-the-field contributions. Being a junior, he's working hard to increase his role for next year, and we're excited to have him back. Raiden Bear. Next is Aiden Dade, senior, fullback tight end, one-year letterman. Aiden was academic all-district. He's a role player for us. We gave him three different roles there, fill this, fill this, fill this, and he blended into those roles extremely well, and it helped our football team win. He's kind of a success story. He's come a long way in his 3 or 4 years, and he succeeded not only in the roles we gave him, but he made his teammates better. They held him in high regard, as they should. He's a very hard hitter, smart player. Those traits allowed him to fill those roles that we gave him and caused his teammates to raise their level as well. And he's a prime example of the type of players that you need to win at a high level. So we're glad to have had him. Aiden Day. Next is Barrett Lopez, junior, fullback on offense, and he also handled a lot of our deep snap chores. One-year letterman, academic all-district, and he's a Ranger football guy, no doubt about that. Extremely committed, dependable, very loyal, and contributed primarily this year in the special teams, handling all of our deep snapping for our extra points and field goals. Saw time at fullback as well in those opportunities. He absorbs his coaching. He's smart. He's hardworking, extremely dependable. He's a junior. He got another year. He's working hard now for his spot, and his contributions in 2023, I think, will reflect the hard work that he's given us. Glad to have him back. Barrett Lopez. Next is Andrew Kingdon, senior. He's a tight end, one-year letterman, academic all-district, also academic all-state. He's a Ranger guy. He's a program guy. His loyalty to Ranger football is perhaps unmatched. Came off of an injury a year or two back, and rehabbed and got himself and gave himself a chance to fill those roles that we gave him. His determination, his work ethic allowed him to play well when those opportunities presented himself, and he made those other guys around him better by the way that he did it. They hold him in high regard, as do I. Andrew Kingdon. Next is Bryce Peterson, junior, tight end, one-year letterman, academic all-district. Made a position change like a lot of our players do and are getting ready to as we progress through the off-season. But he worked extremely hard in his first year as a varsity player, and his work ethic and his commitment to get better allowed his role to increase as the season went on. He played both tight end and also in the special teams. Saw some time there where he made solid contributions as well. He's an ever-improving player, and he's working hard in the off-season. With further development, he can have a prominent role in 2023, and we're excited about having him back. Bryce Peterson. Next, Corey Coleman, tight end, fullback, two-year letterman, academic all-district, honorable mention academic all-state, and voted second-team all-district by the opposing coaches. From junior year to senior year, if we've had people jump as much as improvement jump as much as Corey, then I can't remember in recent memory who that'd be. He played both tight end and fullback, as mentioned. His versatility allowed our offensive scheme to thrive. He did a lot of unsung things. Didn't have a million catches or a bunch of yards rushing, but those underappreciated roles that won't make all that other stuff happen, or won't allow that to happen without his contributions. And he had a tremendous senior year, and I'd venture to say that, I'm not sure that we had anybody do what they did as well as Corey did for us what he did. And so we are blessed to have him on the field and in our program, and we'll miss him. Corey Coleman. Tight ends, fullbacks, and running backs.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, we're going to hop back over to defense now. We're going to go with our front guys. Our defensive tackles and defensive ends are lining up. Coach Risen and Coach Howe coach those guys, so they're up on the stage with them. We're going to talk about their contributions. Okay, our front four, if you will. We'll start with those intros, and we'll start with Jackson Maynard, junior, defensive tackle. Jackson's a 2-year letterman. He was academic all-district. He was, excuse me, voted first-team all-district by our opposing coaches. This is second year as a starter, made steady improvement. You know, when you have a real premier sophomore year, then sometimes you see players level out. That was not the case. He became one of the best defensive linemen in the district, and most of that is due to his outstanding work ethic, not just his ability. And had 64 tackles on the year, 20 tackles for loss, 9 sacks, 7 hurries, 3 fumble recoveries, and one of those he returned for a touchdown. So as well as he played a year ago, as well as he played this past season, you're excited about his potential and how well he'll play as a senior in 2023. We're glad to have him back. Jackson Maynard. Next is Davis Kuhn, junior, the tackle, 1-year letterman. Davis is academic all-district. Worked extremely hard in his first year as a varsity player, has kind of a unique skill set that allows him to play a number of places. This year we asked him to play there. Had 2 tackles on the year and a backup role, and played some on our special teams, and with a good off season that he's already having, and we'll be excited to find the role that fits him best as we move forward, and we're glad to have him back for another year. Davis Kuhn. Next is Joseph Gomez, senior, nose guard, 1-year letterman. In his first year on the varsity, Joseph became a hard worker and improved, and his level of play went up as a year. That was very evident. Had 2 tackles on the year, but also contributed in unseen things on the practice field, scout team, playing well when his opportunities presented themselves. And I'm very proud of his efforts and his determination to the Ranger way, and we will miss him. Joseph Gomez. Next is Justin Roberts. Justin's a freshman. Nose guard, 1-year letterman. First year varsity, obviously, first year at Smithson Valley even, and had 3 tackles on the season, but obviously we think a bunch of this young man's potential and ability, or we wouldn't have had him where we had him. And he has a tremendous upside, and most of that is due to his tenacity and effort, not necessarily his God-given ability, which he has as well. His work ethic and the kind of off-season that he's beginning is going to allow him to make great improvement, and we look for him to be a huge part of future Ranger successes. So we're glad to have him back for 3 more years. Justin Roberts. Next, Isaiah San Nicolas, senior, defensive tackle, 1-year letterman. A very committed player and dedicated Ranger player, and has been for 4 years. He embraced his role, worked hard to get to his 1 shot at glory his senior season, and he provided what we asked him to provide. We're very proud of what he did. We're proud that he's part of that brotherhood and everything that he did for us, and we appreciate his efforts, and he'll be missed. Isaiah San Nicolas. Next is Dylan Goss. Dylan's a junior, nose guard, 1-year letterman, academic all-district. The opposing coaches voted him first team all-district at defensive tackle. Became one of the best D linemen in the district, obviously, as I mentioned, as a first year on the varsity. Had 54 tackles, 10 tackles for loss, and 3 sacks. He has plays with great effort, plays with great technique. He is a bit of a technician. That allowed him to excel on both defense and in the special teams. And again, a junior, working hard, just like I've said about a few others. We're excited about his prospects in 2023. Dylan Goss. Next is Jaredon DePaulo Cardona, senior, defensive tackle, 1-year letterman. He was an academic all-district as well, and he was a valuable member of our defensive line on his first year on the varsity. Again, he's a guy that had to kind of wait his turn, and he waited his turn and made the most of his turn when it came. Had 2 tackles on the year. His impact on the practice field was felt as well. Came every day ready to work and contribute to the success of our team. We appreciate what he's done, and we'll miss him. Jaredon DePaulo Cardona. Our last defensive tackle, Caleb Sosa, sophomore, first year letter, 1 year letterman, academic all-district, had a great first year in his first year as a varsity player. As a sophomore, he had 23 tackles on the year. 2 tackles were for loss, yo-yoed a bit, but some between D tackle and D end. He has a work ethic that stands out. It's noticeable, and his tenacity and his technique, along with his ability, made him a good player, and of course we're very excited to have him back for 2 more years. Caleb Sosa. We'll move to our defensive ends. We'll start with Noah Herring, a senior, defensive end, 2-year letterman, academic all-district, honorable mention academic all-state, second team all-district voted on by opposing coaches. We asked Noah to make a position change 12 months ago. And he did so. Immediately, he flourished in that role, and he excelled right away. And the results in the fall were evident. 56 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 2 hurries. He deflected 2 passes, and he recovered 3 fumbles. And he had a big role for us in special teams as well. He knew how to put himself in position to make plays, and then he had enough ability and determination to make the play when the time came. And you got to have guys like Noah to get where we went, and we're very appreciative of his role. We'll miss him next year. Noah Herring. Next is McLean Garrett, senior, defensive end, 2-year letterman, voted first team all-district by opposing coaches. McLean made tremendous improvement from his junior to senior year, both on the field and off the field, and I'm very, very proud of that. When you're a talented player, sometimes you're not necessarily the hardest working player. Or when you're a talented player, maybe sometimes you don't think there's a need to be a hard working player. And to watch him ramp it up in the off season, the summer and the fall, and take over leadership roles as well as playing well on the year, well, I'm extremely proud of him. He had 60 tackles, 14 of those were solos. He had 17 tackles for loss. He had 9 sacks, 8 hurries, batted down 2 balls, caused 2 fumbles, and more than anything, made every opponent have to account for him. What are we going to do about number 9? And most of the time, whatever they came up with didn't work. But very smart player and a very talented player, and I appreciate what he did to get and put himself in a position to take us where we went, and we'll miss him. McLean Garrett. Next is Trey Adams, senior, defensive end, 1-year letterman, academic all-district, good student as well. Gave us depth at defensive end. We moved him from end. We yo-yoed him over to tight end last spring. We yo-yoed him back to defensive end this fall. He always did that willing, well, what does the team need for me to do to be successful? At defensive end, he had 8 tackles and 1 quarterback hurry. As I mentioned, a very team-oriented guy, has a great work ethic, and his attitude is always good, and he's a pleasure to be around. He was a great teammate, and we will miss him being here, but we're thankful for his contributions while he was. Trey Adams. Next is Devik Bhakta, senior, defensive end, 1-year letterman, academic all-district, and like I said about Kurt a minute ago, one of the handful first-team academic all-state guys that there is. So this is a tremendous student as well as a good player. He's a role player, did everything we asked him to do. He got better every year, got better every day, and he's an example of what helps make Smithson Valley what it is. You got to have guys like him to get where you want to go, and he's as fine a young man as we've had here, and we appreciate his on the field, excuse me, on the field contributions as well. Devik Bhakta. Next is Hayden Stevens, another senior, defensive end, 1-year letterman, academic all-district, first year in our program. Came kind of out of nowhere, and he found ways to help contribute both in the games and his opportunities and on the practice field. Has a high energy level, and He is an example of what a team guy should be. And when those playing time opportunities presented themselves, we are always proud of the way Hayden stepped up and performed, and we'll miss him next year. Hayden Stevens. Next is Hudson Woods. Hudson, another freshman, defensive end, of course, one-year letterman. He was academic all-district, obviously a talented young man because we asked him to do something as a freshman that we don't normally do, and played 3 games for us, and in those 3 games had 3 tackles, had a tackle for loss, and unfortunately had a kind of a growth-induced injury that kept him from playing the rest of the way. But we impressed us in the time that we had him. He's impressing us with his rehab. He's impressed us coming up through the program at the other levels, and we're excited that we have 3 more years with him because we know we've got a real good idea of what that's going to look like, and the Rangers are going to be better for it. So we're glad to have him back. Hudson Woods. Next is Owen Hack. Owen's a junior, a defensive end, one-year letterman. Owen's an academic all-district player, very hard worker. We were really excited about his contributions that were coming up in that junior year. And, he injured a foot in the spring, and we just had, it was a setback, and we just never could quite get it, and where we felt good about him being out there and ready to go. That was frustrating for him, but he handled that well. He kept working. He kept being a part of what we did. Of course, he's a junior. He's been given his release, working extremely hard. So we look forward to him getting that payoff, and we're excited to have him back in 2023. Owen Hack. Defensive line right here, defensive line. Okay, just a couple of more groups here, and now we're going to bring up our wide receivers and our quarterbacks. Okay, well, let's get right into it. Let's start with our receivers. Our first receiver to be introduced is Nick Cernahouse. Nick's a junior, wide receiver, one-year letterman. Nick's academic all-district, a valuable contributor to our 2022 team. His knowledge of the receiver position enabled him to, allowed us to play him at several positions without fail. And he took care of his business in the classroom. As I mentioned, he's academic all-district. The role player, scout team player, had a little different kind of junior year, working extremely hard, and we're excited to see what that brings for us in 2023. We're glad to have him back. Nick Cernahouse. Next is Kyler Clark. Kyler is a senior, a wide receiver, kick returner, 3-year letterman, academic all-district, voted second team all-district by the opposing coaches. He closed with a flourish. He's a 3-year letterman, got injured a couple of years ago and missed most of the year, and had a little bit of a bounce back year in 2021, and then really took off in 2023. Great asset to our offense and special teams. He had 38 catches on the year, 406 yards, 7 of those were touchdowns. He had 10 kickoff returns for 307 yards, 2 of those were touchdowns. Had some big punt returns, but his quickness and ability to make people miss is what made him so good. And he's a quiet leader, showed a lot of heart, made others around him better by the way he carried himself on a daily basis. And we were so proud to have him, and we wish him luck moving forward. Kyler Clark. Next is Freddie DuBose, a junior, wide receiver. Of course, 2-year letterman, 1 here, but 2 overall. He was academic all-district. Of course, Freddie came to Smithson Valley over the summer, quickly integrated himself into the Ranger way and became a part of our team and contributed to its great camaraderie. His work ethic and his love for the game was very evident. Tremendously talented player. Sky's the limit. And, all of us were heartbroken to see the injury cut his season short. That just in that short period of time was so evident the kind of season that he was going to have. But he didn't quit on his teammates. He continued to encourage them to be a part of our team every day. And obviously he is rehabbing, is well on his way to a full recovery, and his ability to be a game changer and an explosive player, an elite player, has got a chance to show itself in the coming year. And so we're glad to have him back. Freddie DeBose. Next is Cole Freund. Cole's a junior, wide receiver, one-year letterman. Cole was academic all-district. Probably an underrated physically gifted player, very, very gifted at what he does, and has an extremely high football IQ, whether it's blocking, catching, playing multiple roles, contributing in special teams, with holding on extra points. He found ways to help us win. He had 12 catches on the year for 132 yards and 1 touchdown. Helped us on the special teams, as I mentioned, and his ability to rub off on others with the way he prepares every day. It got contagious, and he was a very effective player for us, will continue to be an effective player for us, and he'll be a big part of why we have a great year next year in 2023. Cole Freund. Next is TJ Hunt, senior, wide receiver, 2-year letterman, academic all-district, honorable mention, academic all-state, first team all-district, voted on by the opposing coaches. Had a breakout year. A kid that's come out of nowhere. I've been asked by reporters, where'd he come from? And I said, I don't know. But he's here. Began to really show marked improvement at the end of his junior year a year ago, but this year, 54 catches on the year, 1,127 yards, 11 touchdowns, first team all-district. But it was more than that. Other guys have caught passes and scored touchdowns, but his ability to do it when it really mattered, his approach to practice, his approach to paying attention to in film sessions, his ability to make on-the-field adjustments, sometimes without even being coached on it, just you can't put a price on that. And he's not a man of a lot of words, but his play on the field spoke volumes. And how he practices exactly how he played, and he took care of business in all of those areas. And so it was a pleasure to have him part of our football family, and we will definitely miss him moving forward. T.J. Hunt. Next is Jalen Poindexter, senior, wide receiver, 1-year letterman. Jalen's a very hard worker. Made the most of his potential. Had to bounce back from some things that were going against him, and he did that. Did the little things in practice that helped make our team more successful. And whether it's on scout team, special teams, or playing multiple roles at receiver, he wanted to do things right. And we appreciate his positive attitude and what he did to put himself in a position to be a part of our team this year. And we will miss Jalen and wish him the best of luck moving forward. Jalen Poindexter. Next is Quentin Sampson, another freshman, wide receiver, 1-year letterman. We moved him to varsity at midseason at the request of the freshman coaches around the district. And it made our freshman team better because they had to play better because Q's not around anymore. So he quickly became a valuable part of our offense. He showed that he certainly was not intimidated, and not only that, he could make plays with the big boys. And as he began to understand what we did, obviously a little bit broader scope than what he's used to, the sub-varsity levels, as he got more comfortable, the more dangerous he became. And he has a quiet demeanor, but practices hard, and showed his ability to be an elite playmaker when those roles presented themselves. And obviously, being a freshman, he'll continue to tap that exceptional athletic ability. We're looking forward to having him back for 3 more years. Quentin Sampson. Next is Colin Wise. Colin's a senior, wide receiver, 2-year letterman, academic all-district. He's also second team on the academic all-state team. Colin went through 2 position changes. I've been saying that a lot up here. We're moving guys around try to put the puzzle together the best way that it fits. And then he made his second position change about midseason this year. Very dependable. He could fill a number of roles, and we asked him to. And he was a guy that would step in and do what we needed him to do at practice and in the games, made the most of his playing time opportunities. You saw a big touchdown catch on the highlight tape, and showed great leadership and to the other receivers and to our team. And we appreciate him for that, and being a great team player. We'll miss him moving forward. Colin Wise. Next, we'll get to our quarterbacks. Start with our senior, Chase Senelick, senior, quarterback, 3-year letterman, academic all-district, voted second team all-district at the quarterback position by the other coaches. First year as a starter, became one of the premier quarterbacks in the state of Texas in his first full year as a starter. He brought great energy and joy for football. He brought that to the facility every day, and he's a reminder that the game is supposed to be fun. And he passed for 2,152 yards and 26 touchdowns while throwing only 1 interception. He rushed for 297 yards and 5 more touchdowns, so his 2,449 yards of total offense ranks him high in the all-time leaders single season Smithson Valley quarterbacks. And he's a gamer. He plays his best in big moments, and you can't say that about everybody. That's a gift, and he seems to have it. Finished his career 15-1 as a starter, and he certainly will be missed. Chase Senelick. Next quarterback is Ryland Walker, a junior quarterback, 1-year letterman. Ryland was academic all-district, and he had a big role for us in his first year on the varsity as a junior. He is a detail-oriented player, and he has a great work ethic, and he's a natural leader. He's got a lot of other skills other than just a big arm, and he's an intelligent football player with the ability to read defenses and deliver the ball accurately. He accounted for a little over 450 yards of offense and 2 touchdowns this year, and stepped in some tough roles and some tough moments and performed well, and we're very, very proud of that. And of course, he's working extremely hard now, and we'll be back in 2023, and we're glad of it. Ryland Walker. Receivers and quarterbacks. Okay, our last group as they move to the stage, the last group of introductions is our secondary, our defensive backs. And we have, of course, safeties coached by Coach Ulbrich and cornerbacks coached by Coach B. Varsity. And we're going to start with our safeties. These guys played at an extremely high level all year long. We've had the highest interception rate that we've had in the history since I've been here, and these guys, of course, had a lot to do with that. Our first safety is Jaden Ballou, senior, played free safety, a little bit of cornerback at times, 1-year letterman, academic all-district. He did everything we asked him to do, and he got better at both of those positions and on the scout team as the year went. He's an example of what you do to help us win. You know, it's not always a high headline thing that you do. Sometimes you got to do those behind-the-scene things, and he made 4 tackles for us on the year. And he's a fine young man, and we will miss having him around in 2023. Jaden Ballou. Next is Kaysen Camacho, junior, free safety, 1-year letterman, academic all-district. He's a kid that we asked to change positions. You know, he's been very versatile, both at receiver and in the secondary. And as the year went on, he became a secondary. Primarily a secondary player. Played safety for us, as we mentioned, worked real hard each day and showed great improvement. And he raised his level of play as the year went on. Also played for us on the special teams, our punt coverage team. Got better as the year went there. Had 12 tackles on the year, including 1 for a loss. And we look forward to having him back and giving him even more roles as we move on to 2023. Kaysen Camacho. Next is Ezekiel Devados, junior, safety, one-year letterman, academic all-district. Another guy who we give multiple roles to, both on defense and in the special teams. Great effort. He meant a lot to what we did this year, and it meant football is important to him, and it's important to us that he's in football. And a valuable part of our defense, 12 tackles on the year, both on defense and covering down on the punt team and the kickoff team. He has a good understanding of the game, and his work ethic, coupled with that, will give him a chance to play a big role in 2023. We're glad that he's back. Ezekiel Devadas. Next is David De Hoyos. David's a senior, safety, running back, kick returner. Didn't never drive the bus, but that's the only thing that about that we didn't give him to do. 3-year letterman, academic all-district. He was first team, voted by the opposing coaches to the all-district team. Sunday he'll be recognized in the paper as being first team all-San Antonio, and his teammates voted him as one of their captains. He's a pleasure to be around. He's a solid human being, and you know, sometimes, oh, you just rattle off a bunch of honors. Okay, I'm not talking about all district now. I'm just talking about what kind of kid he is. He's a smile on his face, and he has a work ethic that's not present in elite players often. And he obviously is a very talented football player, baseball player, whatever he decides that he's going to do. But he answered every bell. He performed every role that we asked him to do. Defensively, he had 92 tackles, 5 for loss, and 1 quarterback sack, 4 interceptions, caused 1 fumble, recovered 2 fumbles, broke up numerous passes, and then scored on defense. On offense, he carried the ball and rushed for 389 yards, scored 6 touchdowns, caught a pass. On special teams, he blocked kicks, he returned punts, 1 for a touchdown. Okay, I could go on, but what he's meant to our program goes far beyond statistics. And we were lucky to have had him for 3 years, and they'll be talking about him for a long time around here. David De Hoyos. Next is Braden Garrett. Braden's a senior, strong safety. He's a 2-year letterman. He was academic all-district. He's honorable mention on the academic all-state team. Extreme hard worker, prepared really hard for his senior year, was ready to ramp up his role, and of course an injury came along, and just, you know, with what went into that, there was just never able to recover and get back on the field, which was a shame. And you know, the game meant a lot to him. He never quit on his teammates. He showed up every day, encouraged them, helped coach them, was present in meetings, present on the sideline, and you know, that doesn't surprise me and doesn't surprise any of our coaches, because we know the character of the guy, and we know he's going to be successful moving forward, and we'll miss him. Braden Garrett. Next, Isaiah Hackett. Isaiah's a senior, a safety, 1-year letterman, another tremendous young man as well as a good football player. We gave him multiple roles to do, both on defense and scout team and on special teams, saw time in all of those. Another example of what we need here at Smithson Valley to win. And we're proud of what he's done, proud of what he's going to do, and we'll miss him and all that he's done to help make us successful. Isaiah Hackett. Next is Maverick Minister. Maverick's a junior, safety, 1-year letterman, academic all-district. He did too. He's a team guy, did what he had to do to make our team better. He's got tremendous potential as a football player, improved as the year went, played strong safety for us, played on special teams for us as well, gained valuable experience this year, is having a great offseason. I hope he realizes his potential for 2023. We certainly do. We're excited about the spring and the summer and seeing what that brings, and glad to have him back in 2023. Maverick Minister. Next is Weston Ross. Weston's a senior, played strong safety for us, played in the special teams, came over to wide receiver and helped us there as well, a very versatile player. 2-year letterman, 3-year letterman, actually, 1 here at ours. He transferred back to us this year. Academic all-district. He was voted second team all-district by the opposing coaches. full-time defensive player who came over on offense to make big plays, and I think that's the thing that describes him. He always showed up when we needed it, regardless. Defense, offense, kicking game, leadership, work ethic, always got us into the right coverage. Had 71 tackles on the year, caused a fumble, recovered a fumble, had 3 interceptions. One of those he returned for a touchdown, and then broke up 4 or 5 passes as well. Offensively, we flip him over there. He makes 9 catches, 150 yards, and 1 big touchdown that we needed to win the Wagner game. So, just found a lot of ways to impact the game and his teammates, and he did so in a big-time way, and we were just so proud to have him around. He's a high-character guy who's also a high-performing football player. Weston Ross. Before we get to our cornerbacks, we're going to stop and introduce our kicker and punter. That's Clayton Amaya, Jr., 2-year letterman. He's academic all-district. He was voted first-team all-district kicker unanimously, voted first-team all-team punter unanimously. And Sunday in the paper, he'll be the first-team all-San Antonio kicker. So he just being a junior, he had a massive impact for us as a sophomore a year ago, and even more so in 2022. We did ask him to handle not only the kickoffs, the extra point field goals, but he handled the punting chores for us this year as well. 65 for 66 on extra points, 8 of 11 on field goals, 40-yard average per punt. His leg strength and his ability to place the ball was a weapon, and it meant that almost without a doubt the opponent was going to start with a long field because of where he was going to place the kick. And of course, he's just a junior, working real hard. We're excited to have him back for another year. He's going to be one of the premier kickers, not just in San Antonio, but the nation. Clayton Amaya. We move to our cornerbacks now. Matt Cravens is first. Matt's a senior. A cornerback, a 1-year letterman. Matt's worked hard. Ranger football means a lot to him, and it means a lot to Ranger football that he is in it. And he earned his spot and his playing time in the 2022 season. He was a pleasure to coach and be around because he genuinely enjoys being here. And when his playing time opportunities came, he maximized those, and we're proud of what he contributed to our program. We'll miss him, but he's going to know as he moves forward, he's going to be successful in whatever endeavors those are. Matt Cravens. Next, Diego Davila. Diego's a sophomore, brought up kind of in the middle of our season. Cornerback, 1-year letterman, academic all-district. He immediately, we saw on the field, when we moved him to varsity, that he was okay. He wasn't intimidated. He belonged there, and he made an impact in his opportunities on the field. 15 tackles on the year, 5 passes broken up, 3 tackles for loss. He's exactly the kind of player a coach wants. A hard worker, he's locked in, the game matters, and I'm going to get better today. And that's not a common trait, but it's certainly present in this young man, and we're excited to have him back for 2 more years. Diego Davila. Next is Jackson Duffy, a junior, a cornerback. He's a 2-year letterman, a 2-year starter with a year to go. Academic all-district, voted first-team all-district by the opposing coaches. He had a massive impact on our success on the field this year. He started all 14 games for us at cornerback, covered some of the best receivers in the state of Texas. And while doing that, he had 56 tackles. 14 of those were for losses, which is hard to do at cornerback. Broke up 4 passes, caused a fumble, had 3 interceptions, made a big impact on special teams as well. And he's a student of the game. The game matters to him. He studies it, not just relying on ability. And it gives him the flexibility to play at both corner and safety. And, of course, we got him back for another year, so we're excited about that. Jackson Duffy. Next is Zach Gingrich. Zach's another junior cornerback, another 2-year letterman. He was academic all-district, and he too, the other corner, was voted first team all-district by the opposing coaches. So his second year on the varsity was a little bit different role, a ramped-up role from his sophomore year. And he not only stepped up in that role, but he thrived in it. He started all 14 games, and much like Jackson, had to cover some of those best receivers around, often in a man-to-man situation. He had 29 tackles on the year, 3 tackles for loss. He broke up 5 passes, and he had 2 interceptions. And he's got a great work ethic, got a positive attitude, attention to detail, and he obviously has ability. And, of course, the great thing is he's a junior, so we're excited about 2023. Zach Ginrich. Next is Rylan Vela, another junior cornerback. Rylan, 1-year letterman, academic all-district, gave us much-needed depth at the cornerback position for the 2022 season. Very unselfish player, very team-first player, and saw quite a bit of playing time and played well when those opportunities arose. He had 6 tackles on the year, got some great down-the-field coverage against good receivers, gained some valuable experience, which will serve him well as he continues to improve this spring in anticipation of the 2023 season. We're glad to have him back. Ryan Vela. Cornerback, safeties, and kicker punter. You know, as we close the evening out, you know, it's always, I say this most years, you know, it's always hard to let a team go. That's such a special group of young men that I just told you about and that you watched play all year. And, you know, the season always ends abruptly. And in this particular season, it's one play, we're playing again, or one play and we're done. And, you know, that makes it tough, and it's always hard to know what to say, how to react. You know, what is the head coach or the players or the assistant coaches? What do you say? What do you do in that situation? And you almost always fail to do what you probably should do, but a little bit numbing. But, you know, the 2023 season's already, team is already being formed. You know, boot camp's right around the corner. And but I want our players that are coming back to know how special that team that I just introduced was. And, you know, we're never going to let go of those guys. Their pictures and their names on trophies and their accomplishments are on our wall, on our signs, in the trophy case. I mean, that's never going to stop. And, you know, it's a collection of individuals, and that's really all that it really is. And then as you watch the months go by, you see guys that barely knew each other before it started hugging and laughing and, you know, they're best buddies. Or even amongst the team guys that you're not all that close to, you hold him in high regard because you know what he's going through on a daily basis. You know the grind. And a brotherhood forms. And those are bonds that you're not going to break them. I'm not going to break them. They're going to get to carry with them. And this team exemplified that as well as any team we've had. And I've been here a long time, and we've had some great teams, and we've had some close teams, but none better than this. So it was an honor. It was an honor. And that's our 2022 Smithson Valley Varsity football team. Thank you. Thank you, players, and thank you, parents. Now, to close the evening, we've got a few presentations to make. Each year, as our season ends, we ask our players to vote on captains. That is, they select individuals who, in their opinion, best reflected leadership both on and off the field and inspire our team to have the kind of outstanding year that they had. Well, I'm here to tell you, we haven't had a team that's had them in abundance like that. I mean, you could have just kind of stuck your name in a hat and just pull one out, and we had it in bunches. But I'd like to present these 4 young men who were selected this year, and let them say just a word or two to their teammates and to the community. They are seniors: Ty Stone, David DeHoyos, Gavin Woods, and Colton Thomason. Congratulations, men. Now, as they move forward to say a few words, one of them's not here to say a few words. So we're going to let him go first, and we're bringing him in from the clouds as we speak. Yeah, that's fine.
Hey y'all, I'm super sorry I can't make it today, but I love each and every one of you, and I can't wait to see what God has planned. Heroes you remember, but legends never die. The season we shared was legendary and will live on in Sister Valley history. Thank you, Ranger football coaches, for making us better football players and men of God. It's been 7 years since we made it past the second round, and we worked to play into the fourth. It had been 5 years since we won a district championship, and we decided to do it undefeated. But more important than these numbers are the bonds, love, and friendships we created. From tag to boot camp, our blood, sweat, and tears held us each accountable to give and be our best every day. Incoming Rangers, never be satisfied, ever. Respect the Ranger way and never settle for a one goal. Has-beens, we made it. We have made history and created a tradition of excellence for all future Rangers to aspire to. Wins and records get remembered, but class, discipline, effort, tradition, and Ranger football will always live in our hearts. I love you, thank you, and I am honored to forever be a Ranger.
Okay, we've never done that before. So, well, we got 3 real live ones here. So I'm going to let them have it, and I think we're starting with Gavin Woods.
Colton is one of the greatest leaders to ever come through here, so I'm thankful he led it off. But Ty, David, and I wanted to say a couple specific things, specific thank yous. To the coaches, we couldn't be more blessed to play for the best coaching staff in the state. Thank you all for the tremendous effort and countless hours you all have devoted to bettering us, not only as players, but as young men as well. To Coach Haug, thank you for taking me in as a freshman and showing me how things were done right. To Coach B. Worstifer and Coach Risen, thank you all for always bringing the positive energy in every drill. To Coach Olbrich, thank you for always keeping all the safeties in check, especially David. To Coach C. Worstifer, thank you for teaching me everything I know about how to be a Ranger linebacker. You are a coach like no other, and your hard work has inspired me to be the best young man and the best football player I could have been. To all the offensive coaches, thank y'all for everything you've done as well. And to Coach Hill, thank you for allowing us to be part of something special. Your dedication to this program does not go unnoticed, and the Ranger way will always be a part of us players. It has been an honor to play for all y'all coaches, and we thank y'all so much.
To the players, what's up, fellas? What a ride we had. We accomplished many of our goals this year. District champions, by-district champions, area champions, regional champions, and quarterfinalists. And although we didn't get every goal we set out for, we built a family like no other. In my exit meeting, Coach Hill asked me, "Stone, what made this team so different?" I didn't hesitate to answer. This team was the closest and most goal-oriented group I've ever been a part of. We pushed each other every day on the field, and we supported one another off of it. I had never experienced such a positive and love-filled locker room until this year. It never mattered if you were a starter or an underclassman. We were all one big family working towards one goal. We built bonds that will never be broken. I'm looking forward to the future when we're old and gray, maybe even bald, with no knees, and reliving the good old days. Like when Coach Hill decided he was going to jump in the pool on the last day of TAC. Or how about when Coach Touton took one of the splat ball guns and shot Coach G. Hill in the face? Or I'll never forget the look on the coach's face when we realized Duffy had a whole Goodwill in the bottom of his locker. This team will never be forgotten, and I wouldn't want to end my career with anyone else. For one last time, thank you all for making this season one of the all-time greats. And one last time, be iron and unleash hell.
And to the community, we as a team like to thank everyone for their underwhelming support and love shown throughout this entire run. The 2022 season was unlike no other, and a huge part of that was support by the people around us. Ranger Stadium was like no other, and it has been a great privilege to play the game we all love in front of such an amazing crowd. We would like to thank our parents, and they traveled to support us every step of the way. The Rangers of 2022 couldn't be more thankful. We all love you, and thank you for once again for your Smithson Valley Ranger football team.
Y'all going to get a helmet each.
Thank you, guys. And if the Stone, Sinlick, and Maynard families are still present, if you'll make your way up on the stage, I'm going to ask our captains to stay up here with me for these last two things in the program, presentations on the program. We talk about support. I think David was talking about it right there at the end, and we have tremendous support, always have, and it looks like we always will, but not sure we ever have had it any better than what we just experienced. So to the Stone and Sinlick family, as a token of our appreciation for being our parent reps, we'll present these 2022 helmets for you to keep as a memory. And to the Maynard family, for your unselfish act, opening up your homes for team dinners throughout the season, we present you too with a 2022 helmet, and we thank all these families. And finally, to close out the night, we have, you've heard me say this before. I'll ask our captains to stay up here with me as we make this final presentation. Ranger football gives only one award. The best award we have is you play for the Rangers. We're a team. We're not real fancy with how we dress and how we present ourselves. We just trying to play good. And so we don't have MVPs. We don't have Player of the Year, things. And I'm not being critical of other programs. I'm just saying that's kind of our mantra. That's kind of our way. But we do give what we call the Jim Worthy Award. And Brandy Norton, who's the sister of Jim Worthy, who the award was named after years ago, has the last few years, and again this year is here to help us make the presentation. We're honored by her presence and her willingness to help bring to light the memory of her late brother. So to make this presentation, Brandy, I'm going to give you the mic and let you do the honors.
Thank you, Coach. Good evening, Rangers. As Coach said, my name is Brandy Norton, and I'm honored to be here this evening to present the Jim Worthy Award. My family has a long history here at Smithson Valley. I graduated from here. My daughter Grace is finishing her senior year as a Ranger, and my big brother Jim was part of Smithson Valley class of 1985. But tragically, 1 week before beginning his senior year, Jim was killed due to a freak accident with some standard hitting and tackle drills at summer football practice. The rim at the base of his helmet severed his spinal cord at the base of his neck, and he perished on the very field that many of you young men played on not so long ago at what is now the Smithson Valley Middle School campus. Due to his untimely death, number 75 was retired, and this award was founded in his memory. While Jim has been gone for 38 years, my family continues to celebrate the great game of football. We're here at Ranger Stadium every Friday night. Saturday, that's for college football. And Sunday is for two things: our Lord and Savior and the NFL. To this day, we love the game of football. However, when a player goes down, I think many of us witnessed the Damar Hamlin of the Buffalo Bills collapse on the field just last week. We, as Jim's family, say an extra prayer for you, the player, but Mom and Dad, we say one for you too. We know the absolute worst that can happen on that field. In fact, on average, there are 3 deaths per year in high school and college football due to traumatic brain injury and spinal cord injuries in the United States. To present his memorial award, I want to convey to you that this award is a memory of his life, not his death. My brother was truly your all-American boy next door, the son every parent was proud to have, the brother every little girl could look up to, a friend every student could lean on, and the player every coach looked forward to leading his team. Jim was a great student. In fact, for many years after his death, we continued to receive recruitment letters from colleges all over the country. Jim strived to be a better athlete. Long before the days of CrossFit, during the off-season, you would regularly see Jim running the football field with a concrete-filled tire back and forth. He was also a shot putter, but he didn't practice with a 12-pound high school shot put. He had my dad find a college-level 16-pound shot put and made divots in the backyard over and over. Why? Because it not only improved him as a player, he knew it was for the betterment of his team. But to me, the most important part of his character is a story that I will continue to tell every single year so that those that were not here in previous years know, and those who have heard this story before are reminded of the gentleman that he was and who you represent as the recipient of this award. This story best represents that Jim was a man of compassion and integrity. He wanted the best for others rather than himself. A fellow Ranger football player's family moved to another state, but this student insisted on staying here at Smithson Valley because he knew that where his family was going didn't have a future for him. Jim learned that this student was homeless, hungry, and living in a tent behind campus. When Jim learned that his only food came from the cafeteria and his only showers were in the locker room, Jim worked tirelessly to find a family friend to bring this student into their home so that he could stay here at Smithson Valley to finish high school. I'm so proud to say that this very student went on to retire from the United States Air Force. And to this day, this student is a dear family friend who attributes his success to Jimbo's relentless pursuit to ensure not only that he survived, but that he thrived. He even named his son after my brother. In celebration of his life and who he was, not only as a player, but as a leader on and off the field, the coaching staff retired number 75 and established the Jim Worthy Memorial Award. This award is not about numbers. Neither your yardage nor your points matter in this moment. This award annually goes to a senior football player who best represents the following criteria. You have a great attitude. You have phenomenal character. You are always dependable and honest. You maximize your talent to the fullest. You are extremely loyal and dedicated to the Ranger way. You play with passion, class, and fanatical effort. But when you play the caliber of competition that you play here in Ranger Country, state quarterfinalists, you have to have a number of players who fit the criteria just mentioned. Know that this award is discussed and voted on by the very coaching staff that sees your dedication and your character day in and day out, not only on the field, but off and in the classroom. This year's winner is selected by your coaches. This was a player who loves the game of football. He's indeed a talented player, but his playing ability is not his best quality. Rather, he is best known for his love of the game, his selfless nature, his commitment to the Ranger way, to his coaches, and to his fellow teammates. His hustle, his tenacity, his leadership, and his drive help define your team. For that commitment, tonight we honor the 2022 Jim Worthy Memorial Award winner, Braden Bafidas.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I told Braden I didn't know about them purple shoes. We might have went another way. So, yeah, we voted for. We knew that. So, no, congratulations to Braden, our captains, but to our whole team. What a tremendous year. And I want to close by thanking all who made this night possible. It's a special night for a special group of young men, and I want to thank the parents for entrusting your sons to us for the last 5 months, and you know, the sacrifices you make, and your help in making this a great evening. And one last time, I salute our players. You know, many of them got a lot of individual accolades, and deservedly so. But for our team, it was a glorious year, and we look forward to 2023. Expectations are high. We're not backing off. We're not blinking. We're going after the same thing. But what success we have in 23, and we'll have it, we'll owe a great debt to the 2022 Smithson Valley Rangers for the standard that they set. So thank you all for coming tonight and making this evening memorable. Have a safe trip home, and good night.